I'd like to start by saying, hi Glenn, welcome. I think there's a chair right here. And then I'd like to start by saying, I know a lot of folks saw an email that I sent out to the KFAI email list, but I just want to reiterate that we're in a really good position to have a successful pledge drive. And I'm excited about that. We were able to get the last 6 months Arbitron ratings from July through December, and our unique listenership, this is, an average one person tuning in, has gone up 20%. So that's really amazing. And people are spending longer time listening to the station, which is what we had hoped would happen with lining up the programming the way it's now lined up. And memberships have, I don't know if I'm ready to say there's a direct correlation, because of course when you talk membership, you're always thinking also about the economy and people's optimism. Yeah, if you want to grab another chair in the office. Thank you. But memberships have also increased, so I'm really excited about that. People seem to be maybe just feeling a little more safe about giving to an organization like KFAI. And we've also gotten a number of new memberships, which is really wonderful in the first couple of months of this year. Kind of random and a good thing. So I think it really sets us up for having a successful pledge drive. And our goal is 80,000. Last spring we raised 86,000, so there's really no reason we shouldn't be able to hit 80,000. And actually I'm predicting we're ending the pledge drive a little early. I think we'll hit it on Wednesday. That's before the end of the pledge drive. That's just what I'm saying. And we can have a little pool about that. But our fall one was tough. We all know that our fall one was tough. It was a high goal, 95, set because it's what we really needed. But we raised close to 70. So we didn't meet that goal. And at times it was a little tough, but we had a lot of great loyalty from people who were giving and loving the station, even though they may not have agreed with replacing morning music with news. They still had a lot of loyalty to the programs that they love, and they had a lot of faith and love for the station. So what we're seeing now is when I'm sending out notices for people to renew their memberships, is I always send them out by mail, because some people just prefer to renew by mail and it's easy for them. I'll get notes back saying, I like this or I like that. And my percentage of return is actually higher than I hoped. So that's great. That says to me that our people who were giving last spring are feeling still loyal to the station. So we're in a really good position. The one thing I'll say about last fall is I heard some of the best pledge rapping on this station I have ever heard. I thought across the board, programmers were doing an incredible job on the air. So I really wouldn't, there's just a few people I'd talk to about taking pledge breaks, because it's hard to break up their conversations and take pledge breaks. But so we're going to talk about that a bit today. But I just think we're in a really good position if we can use that same energy and feel as optimistic as we did maybe last spring. This pledge drive, I think we're going to do really well. And we have some guests this morning to speak about what's happening across, what they've seen across the country during pledge drive, and then also what happens at their individual stations, and advice that they have for specific, pledge drive questions and challenges we tackle as programmers and as non-programmers supporting people on the air. So I'd like to introduce Roya from KBSC. And Roya is a professor of mass communication at my first college that I went to, St. Cloud State. So she works in Stewart Hall there, and she's also the general manager for KBSC, one of our sister Amherst stations. So thank you, Roya, for coming in. And another sister Amherst station, of course, we have is KBEM. And I got more than a couple letters, not that many, but I think probably about a dozen folks saying they're now listening to KBEM in the morning. And I thought, that's fine. Because, what better friend to hand some listeners to who just don't want to hear the morning news. Ted Allison from KBEM, he is the Development and Promotions Director, so he essentially does what I do over at KBEM, and then he also does some promoting and marketing, which I don't have to do for KBEM. But good morning, Ted. Thank you for coming in. And then Roger has joined us again, Roger Gamal from PRI. Roger.
Or the people that bring you the talk show.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So we think there are people coming to your station.
That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. I've been getting new members who enjoy hearing this new program in the Twin Cities. Absolutely.
I'm just pulling.
No, thank you for pointing that out.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You mentioned that we've had a 20% increase. Have you done specific things to get there, or has it just been a surprise?
No, we did a major program change back in July.
Oh, okay.
So we moved around a lot of programs, changed the morning format, changed the whole daytime flow and weeknights, and we changed pretty much every single day.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
it's trying to line up the programming better so that people can stay on longer, and then bring a new program to the market, which was a big change for us because it had been music in the morning, and now it's news in the morning. So, but the remarkable thing about what's happening with the takeaway is we haven't lost listenership in the morning. Even though we heard from some passionate morning music people. The numbers haven't shown a decline, so maybe they're like me. Like I'll have news in the morning just as much as I'll have music. So anyway, Roger.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. And so I'm gonna hand it over to Adam to ask some of our general questions of our panelists. We've got some specific questions for panelists, and we want you to go ahead and take notes as we're having a discussion this morning, and ask the questions that are burning in your minds too while we have these great guests. And feel free, as we're here this morning, to get up and get more juice and eat more pastries and fruits or whatever you want, and coffee. So thanks. Yeah, a little icebreaker question.
Yeah, so why don't we start with Roya. Well, we'll start with all of you to answer the question of think about the first time you became a member of a public radio station, and what was it that drove you to do that?
You want me to start?
Yeah, Roya, you can start.
Well, actually the first time I became a member of a public station, it was a public TV station, and that was when I was teaching at Southern Illinois University. Their public TV was affiliated with SIU, and I also had a 3-4-year-old daughter who watched Sesame Street, and so we did use the programming of the public TV quite a bit. And I remember that the time that I actually decided to sign up and contribute and become a member was when the general manager of that television was on the air and spoke passionately about what they were doing, and how if they didn't provide those educational programs, it would not really exist. And so that kind of struck a chord with me, because I was personally benefiting from what they were doing, and so that was the first time I became a member. But it's not a really exciting story, but I think it makes sense. I think a lot of people have, that's how they become members.
What about you, Ted?
And just as you were saying that, TV, especially public TV, because of my children, and radio, and if you see my background, I've been involved with public radio for so long. But public radio is a big thing. I mean, what we've been supporting and going along with, so that's where I have to go with the same thing, is especially the TV portion of it, with the children being involved with it, and just seeing what it does to the community, and public radio especially, what in the ways I've been supporting it, and the way I've been doing it in this community. It's important, and the station I'm involved with, of course, the students that are involved with it. That's where my life is. Keeping the students on and going. Civil.
Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say Roger.
I was a student at the U for a couple of years. I used to listen to KON and watch public television, but I was never a member. I don't think they had memberships back then. And I was also a listener of Minnesota Public Radio back in the early days when they were still in St. Cloud and they were just moving down here. to 91.1, because I'm a classical music lover, so I used to tune into that. And then I decided that I was going to go to a smaller school, so I went to Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota, which is out in the middle of nowhere. It's 250 miles away from everywhere, and you can't believe what it feels like. Or maybe you do, maybe some of you are from North Dakota or get up there a lot. There's a hill that you go over in Rothsay, and then below that you go into the valley, the Red River Valley, where it's nothing but flat and kind of lonely. And when I got up to Concordia, I turned the radio on, and there was KCCM, which was one of Minnesota Public Radio's first network stations.